It was supposed to be a quiet anniversary dinner, a celebration of 48 years of marriage at one of America's most beloved steakhouse chains. But just hours later, 72-year-old Martha Wilkins was being rushed to the ER nauseous, dehydrated, and barely conscious. Doctors said it wasn't a heart attack. It was foodborne illness. And the cause? A file malignant at a restaurant she'd trusted for decades. The twist? She wasn't alone. 23 other customers that same night had the same symptoms, most of them seniors. What followed would uncover one of the most alarming food safety failures in recent memory, connected to a chain you probably recognize, maybe even love. And it's just one of many. Premium steaks, cheap shortcuts. You've seen the commercials. Sizzling steaks, smiling families, a warm rustic vibe. Places like Outback Steakhouse, Texas Roadhouse, and Longhorn Steakhouse market themselves as havens of hearty Americana. But behind the grill, an ugly truth simmers. Insiders from 3 major chains have come forward in recent years revealing disturbing cost-cutting tactics. One former executive from a Florida-based steakhouse brand, under anonymity, claimed, "There's an unspoken rule. If it looks good and smells good, we serve it even if it's past the sell-by." That's not just unsettling. It's dangerous, especially for seniors whose immune systems are more vulnerable. According to a 2023 FDA investigation, over 60% of reported foodborne illness cases linked to chain restaurants involved diners over the age of 60. Why? It's partly because these establishments often reuse oils, undercook meats during peak rush hours, and fail to follow strict sanitation protocols, all to keep profits sizzling. Hidden cameras, raw horror. In April 2024, a local CBS affiliate in Dallas went undercover in a Texas Roadhouse location. What they captured on hidden cameras was disturbing. Raw steaks sitting out at room temperature for over an hour, dishwashers scrubbing utensils in murky water, and cross-contamination so rampant that chicken juices ended up on steak platters. The footage went viral. But the kicker? The restaurant passed its last health inspection barely. One former line cook who worked at multiple Longhorn Steakhouse locations shared photos of moldy produce, expired sauces, and even beef with visible gray rot. "They just scrape off the worst parts and cook it anyway," he admitted. For younger, healthier customers, this might mean an upset stomach. But for seniors with compromised immune systems or underlying health conditions, it can be catastrophic. The CDC confirmed that several 2024 outbreaks of Clostridium perfringens, a bacteria commonly linked to improperly handled meat, originated from chain steakhouses, particularly in states like Arizona, Ohio, and South Carolina. Your age makes you a target. This isn't just about bad hygiene. Seniors face a unique and deadly risk when dining at these establishments, and many don't even know it. According to Dr. Alina Jacobs, a gerontologist at Johns Hopkins, as we age, our stomach acid weakens, making it easier for bacteria from undercooked or improperly stored meats to cause serious infections. It's not just nausea or diarrhea, it can lead to sepsis, organ failure, and even death. In fact, a 2022 NICE report found that adults over 65 are 10 times more likely to be hospitalized due to foodborne illnesses compared to younger adults. Add in popular steakhouse practices like serving medium rare cuts that are inconsistently grilled, and you've got a recipe for disaster. Yet most seniors still trust these chains, unaware they may be gambling with their lives every time they order a sirloin. What the reviews don't tell you? Yelp is filled with glowing 5-star reviews for places like Outback and Texas Roadhouse. But those aren't the full picture. When you dig deeper into FDA records, county health department scores, and legal filings, a much darker story emerges. Between 2021 and 2024, over 2,400 health code violations were filed across 300 locations of these 3 major chains. Violations ranged from rodent droppings in storage areas to meat stored at unsafe temperatures. In one shocking case in Tempe, Arizona, a customer bit into a steak and found a piece of latex glove cooked into the meat. Why don't you hear about this? Because chains invest millions into PR burying these incidents behind legal settlements and non-disclosure agreements. Former servers have admitted they were explicitly told not to inform customers if a health inspection had recently failed unless asked directly. Pay to fine. Stay silent. When outbreaks occur, corporate often moves quickly not to fix the problem, but to make it disappear. Take the 2023 norovirus outbreak in Birmingham, Alabama, which sickened over 70 people at a Texas Roadhouse location. The restaurant quietly shut down for deep cleaning, reopened within 48 hours, and never acknowledged the outbreak publicly. A whistleblower later leaked internal memos showing that corporate instructed managers to redirect customer concerns to social media PR channels and not comment on medical claims. Even more chilling is the pattern of forced arbitration clauses in employee and customer agreements. This legal tool prevents many cases from ever reaching public court records. So while victims suffer, the companies skate by with barely a scratch to their reputation. Celebrity endorsements with a body count. Celebrities have long been used to sell us the idea of safety and trust. But in this case, that trust might be dangerously misplaced. In 2022, country music legend Willie Nelson partnered with Texas Roadhouse for a national ad campaign. Meanwhile, actor Rob Riggle appeared in a high-energy ad blitz for Outback Steakhouse just months before an E. coli outbreak at one of their Phoenix locations. None of these public figures commented on the incidents, and legally, they don't have to. But should they? Public health advocates argue that when a celebrity attaches their image to a brand with known food safety issues, they become part of the problem, especially when senior customers who often trust those familiar faces are the ones most at risk. They know what's wrong, but they can't talk. Behind every steak served at a chain restaurant is a team of overworked, underpaid staff, many of whom see the red flags daily. A former Outback server named Katie shared with us under condition of anonymity. We'd have seniors send food back because it was cold or raw inside, and the kitchen would just toss it on the grill for 10 seconds and plate it again. We were told to smile, nod, and move on. Worse yet, many workers face retaliation if they report unsafe practices. In 2024, a health inspector whistleblower in North Carolina leaked a report showing that several steakhouse managers bribed inspectors with gift cards to ignore violations. The story disappeared after a quiet settlement. These aren't isolated cases. In a Reddit thread with over 12,000 upvotes, hospitality workers across the country shared horror stories from steakhouses, including undercooked food being reserved and reused bread rolls from cleared tables. It's not just about the meat. Even if your steak is perfectly cooked, what about the sides, the seasonings, or the salads? In 2023, a lab test commissioned by an independent consumer group analyzed the chemical content of seasoning blends used in over 20 chain restaurants. Shockingly, they found elevated levels of sodium nitrate, NSG, and propylene glycol, an additive also found in antifreeze. These ingredients aren't illegal, but they're linked to increased risk of high blood pressure, heart issues, and kidney strain conditions that already disproportionately affect seniors. And in many cases, these additives aren't listed on the menu. Even more alarming, several chains outsource their salad mixes and side dishes to third-party suppliers with no direct oversight, meaning contamination or spoilage can happen long before it ever reaches your plate. The loyalty program trap. One of the sneakiest tools used by major steakhouse chains. Loyalty apps and reward programs that target older diners. Senior discounts, free desserts on birthdays, early bird specials. It all sounds harmless until you realize these programs are designed to build dependence. According to data analytics from MarketWatch, customers over 60 are twice as likely to return weekly when enrolled in reward systems, even after negative experiences. One retired couple from Nevada reported returning to a Longhorn Steakhouse 7 times after food complaints simply because they had earned enough points for a free entree. What they didn't realize was that this habitual return made them blind to the very real risks they were taking. A steakhouse wake-up call. It's not about fear-mongering. It's about pulling back the curtain on an industry that markets safety and tradition while hiding a minefield of risks, especially for the most vulnerable among us. If you're a senior or care for one, know this. Not all steakhouses are created equal. Some still follow strict safety protocols. Some do treat food with the care it deserves. But many have been exposed for putting profits over people, and chances are you've eaten at one of them. Next time you see a juicy TV ad or feel tempted by that sizzling platter, remember, behind the grill may be a risk you can't see until it's too late. The legal nightmares they don't put on the menu. Behind every sizzling sirloin, there's often a silent legal battle brewing. In 2023 alone, over 320 lawsuits were filed against just 4 major steakhouse chains, many of them quietly settled out of court. One case in Michigan involved a 69-year-old man who suffered internal bleeding after unknowingly biting into a metal shard hidden in his ribeye. The company's response: a $500 gift card and a non-disclosure agreement. And yet, the lawsuits barely scratched the surface. Because of arbitration clauses tucked deep inside online reservation agreements, loyalty app terms, and even printed on the back of menus. Many injured patrons, especially elderly ones, are legally blocked from taking their claims to public court. Instead, they're forced into private arbitration, often facing company-appointed mediators and gag orders. Legal experts call this the Steakhouse Shield, a system designed to protect billion-dollar brands from public scrutiny. And while the corporations remain insulated, the victims suffer in silence. How long has that steak already been there? You may think the steak on your plate is fresh, but depending on the chain, it could be weeks old and still perfectly legal to serve. Industry insiders call it the 90-day window. Vacuum-sealed beef can be stored in cold warehouses for up to 3 months before hitting the kitchen grill. By the time it's seasoned and seared, even trained chefs often can't tell how long it's been aging or rotting. One supplier for a major U.S. steakhouse chain admitted to using carbon monoxide gas treatments to keep aging steaks looking red and fresh. Though approved by the USDA, these methods have come under fire internationally, with countries like Japan and the EU banning them due to deceptive appearance risks. Worse yet, many steakhouses store thawed meat in temperature abuse zones, meaning it sits between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 140 degrees Fahrenheit long enough for bacteria like Salmonella or Listeria to multiply rapidly. For the average diner, it's a gamble. For the elderly, it can be a death sentence. One bite could break your heart literally. It's not just the meat. The side sauces and flavor add-ons pack a hidden punch. One standard steak entree at a major chain complete with garlic butter, loaded mashed potatoes, and onion petals can contain over 2,200 milligrams of sodium. That's nearly a full day's worth for the average adult, and well beyond safe limits for anyone over 65 with blood pressure concerns. Cardiologist Dr. Lisa Tran from New York Presbyterian warns, a single steakhouse meal could spike a senior's blood pressure enough to cause stroke symptoms within hours. It's not fear, it's chemistry. Many seniors, unaware of what's in those seemingly harmless steak toppers, suffer symptoms like chest tightness, dizziness, or arrhythmia shortly after dining. They often attribute it to age, but it's really the butter, salt, and saturated fats hiding in plain sight. Menus rarely disclose full nutritional data, and when they do, the fine print is almost unreadable. Why seniors keep coming back? Ever notice how steakhouse commercials often feature older couples, warm lighting, and slow-paced piano music? That's not by accident. Marketing researchers call this comfort targeting, a method of tailoring ads to subconsciously appeal to aging viewers' sense of tradition and nostalgia. Texas Roadhouse's 2023 campaign tagline, "Where families feel at home," was tested extensively on audiences aged 60 to 80. And it worked. Sales rose 18% among seniors after the ad aired nationwide. But here's where it turns dark. Internal brand reports, leaked to Business Insider, show that senior diners were considered ideal customers because they'd rarely complain, tip generously, and return loyally even after a bad experience. One regional manager even referred to elderly regulars as the golden herd in an internal email chain. This isn't just marketing, it's manipulation. It builds emotional trust with a demographic that, in many cases, is being sold food that can actively harm them. That keto-friendly steak. Think again. With the rise of keto and paleo trends, steakhouses have rushed to capitalize on the high-protein hype. Menu sections now flaunt low-carb steaks, sugar-free sauces, and clean-eating entrees. But experts warn, these labels are often misleading or outright false. Consumer Lab tested 5 keto-certified steak meals from national chains. 4 out of 5 contained hidden sugars, flour-based thickeners and sauces, or carb-loaded marinades. One ribeye, advertised as carb-free, actually had 7 grams of sugar due to the molasses glaze seasoning rub. For diabetics and prediabetic seniors, this deception isn't just unethical, it's dangerous. Blood sugar spikes, confusion, and fainting spells have all been reported within hours of these misleading meals. And yet, none of the chains have faced regulatory action. Why? Because under current U.S. law, restaurants aren't required to publish accurate macronutrient data unless they make a health claim. Low carb isn't regulated. It's just marketing. Why the steakhouse near you might be the worst one. Not all locations are equal, and for seniors, that variance can be deadly. A data review by Eater.com found a shocking disparity in health inspection scores between chain locations. A Texas Roadhouse in Boise, Idaho scored a 98 in sanitation. A nearly identical location in Fort Worth, Texas, scored a 41, citing rodent infestations and unrefrigerated meat trays. What causes such wild differences? Experts point to the franchise model. Many steakhouses aren't owned by corporate at all, they're run by local franchisees who cut corners to meet profit quotas. Some reduce labor hours, skip sanitation training, or buy cheaper third-party suppliers without telling the parent company. And unless customers dig through public records, they'll never know which version of the brand they're walking into, the clean, safe one, or the one that hides raw meat in mop buckets. Your life is worth more than a cheap steak and a loyalty card. Stay sharp, stay safe, and when it comes to these popular steakhouses, maybe it's time to order something else.